guys, it's BT here, and today we're going to be looking at one of the hypest mice of the year, the Pulsar X2 Mini. Now recently I did a review on my first Pulsar mouse where I said this was getting towards like the pinnacle of what a whole mouse could be, and the only place they can go is really making a fully enclosed mouse. Well, they've done that today, well, outside of their X cutout bottom, which that's their signature now. They've created an entirely new shape by remixing some of our favorite mice, and I gotta say, I'm digging it. But as they've turned the corner in one area, I feel like they've taken a step back in some other ways. Now I do want to preface this review by saying this is a prototype, so they do have some time to change some things in this mouse to get it up to where I think it could be. Now taking a look at the build quality of this mouse, it comes in white and a black fully enclosed shell, well outside of that cutout like I said, which allows this mouse to shave off a couple of pounds, getting this mouse down to a nice 52 grams, and it's very well balanced, all while keeping the structural integrity intact. Coating feels great, definitely more on the smoother side compared to their older mice. For sweaty hands though, I could actually see this being a slight problem. You can actually see it kind of glistening in the light as I move it around. But for the most part, I do like this coating. I think it strikes a nice balance. Some mice can be a little bit too rough, some can be a little bit too smooth, but this is somewhere on the middle, but a little to the smooth side, if that makes sense. The PTFE feet feel great and they glide amazing. It would have been nice if they would have came with some glass skates though, especially at this $95 price point. Their super glides are some of the best skates in the game. They're glass skates. It would have been nice to actually see it in the packaging, or even just have it come installed on this mouse already. Now there's also a light on the side of the mouse which shows the DPI, which is controlled by the button on the bottom, which is opposite of the on-off switch. The mouse is charged by USB-C, giving 70 hours of battery life, which is, you know, it's alright. You know, it's not the best, but it's good enough. Would have loved to have seen this at the 100-hour mark, because let me tell you, some of these other mice that are coming out that I have an embargo on, they've got some crazy battery life. So to see 70 and know what's coming, they gotta do a little bit better than that. 80, I'll take 80. To charge this mouse, it comes with a very nice cable. It's actually surprisingly good. The cable is nice and flexible. Probably one of the best stock cables out currently. Back in the day, about 2 years ago, we would have creamed our pants if a wired mouse actually came with this cable. Now a wireless mouse is coming with one of the best wired wires in the game right now. Crazy. Now as for the buttons of this mouse, it's rocking the Kale 8.0 switches for the mouse 1 and 2, but like I said, not all Kale 8.0 switches are built the same. Well, they are, but how companies implement them goes a long way in determining how they feel. And in this case, this is where this mouse, I feel, falls flat. And sadly, there's some issues on my copy. The pre-travel is pretty good, but one thing I do like is a more cushioned bottom mount. This one, once you go down to the bottom, the switch becomes very rubby with the bottom part of the shell and the outer portion of the shell. On my copy, especially on the left or the mouse 1, the rub is just there and it's super distracting when I'm trying to aim in game. Now this is a prototype, so I am hoping that this is just a fluke, that it's just my copy and that the retail version will be fixed. But I just like that cushion bottom out. I'm so accustomed to it. Just feels so nice, so effortless when you're aiming. To not have that and to have it hit that shell, kind of like the M42 back in the day, just hit the bottom of that shell, very abrasive. Doesn't feel good, it's distracting. And the reason why I'm harping on this so much is because their other mice have just been perfection. I expect a lot from Pulsar now. You know, you can't give me mice like the X-Lite V2 and then come with something like this, because I'm gonna notice it when I compare it. Their other mice clicks are crispier than a 10-piece bucket of chicken from KFC. So I'm not sure what went wrong here. Now I will say though that I do like these side buttons a lot. These are top tier. They're light, there's barely any pre-travel, they're very responsive. The scroll wheel is also nice, defined, not too zowie defined, and not too, it really reminds me of like a G Pro Super Light, if I could compare it to another mouse wheel. And you guys know I love that mouse. Very tactile, love it. It's almost a shame that the mouse 1 and 2 came out like this, because I feel like the other parts of the mouse feel great. But don't take my word for it, let's drop that sound test so you can hear what this mouse sounds like and some of the issues that I found. So now let's talk about the shape. You know, shape is king, and this one has an amazing shape. The one thing that this mouse, if anything else fails, is the shape. That's the one thing that this mouse does perfectly. It's got comfort grooves on the mouse 1 and 2. The side buttons are in a great place and easy to hit. Feels like a Razer Viper inside, but the butt of an XM1 and the hips of a G Pro Superlight. That pretty much sums up what this mouse is. Now, if you found one of those 3 mice comfortable in the past, odds are you're most likely going to like this mouse, especially if you like smaller mice. Now, my hands are on the medium side, and this fits like a dream. I have enough room on the edge of the mouse 1 and 2 to get some nice leverage on them without my fingers having to scrunch up and be uncomfortable. It has a very nice low front end. You'll forget this mouse is even in your hand. It just feels so right. You'll feel like you just found your long lost twin. And that, my friends, is a sign of a good mouse. For a claw grip, this thing is one of the best mouse shapes that I've ever tried. Okay, I repeat, ever tried. It's up there with the Razer Viper Mini. For fingertip grip, it's okay. All right, I tried using it with fingertip grip. The MZ1 has spoiled me. It's hard to go back to anything else for fingertip grip because of those grooves and everything else, but this one is decent. You know, if you really do want to fingertip grip this mouse, you can. I find that it's a little too wide for me personally. I don't get enough pencil action, although you can do it with this mouse. So you got to make a trade-off somewhere, but this is definitely more forgiving if you want to do a bunch of different grip styles compared to some other mice like the MC1. Now, if you want to do a palm grip, it's very hard to do since it has all that junk in the trunk. It shoots your fingers over the top and kind of gives you that little like triangle thing with your hand. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? This thing right here. So the sensor is a 3395 sensor, top of the line, feels great, nothing to really report there. I tried this mouse out for the first time live on Twitch, and it took me a few death matches before I can really feel at home with the weight coming from a heavier mouse. But the shape really made it easier to control this mouse and get used to it faster. Overall, my experience with this mouse has been more positive than negative. The only real negatives to me being the non-existent bottom out and the buttons rubbing. This mouse isn't perfect by any means, but is it worth the hype? I have to say so. I think a lot of the hype is coming from this shape, and I think this shape actually delivered. Now, for me personally, Pulsar had everything going for it, had the hype, had everything, and then at least in my prototype, the bar for me was set so high that it didn't hit it. Okay, it feels like it could be a little bit better, especially when they had that X Lite V2 come out. That thing was gold, it was platinum. It was it, all right? For me, unless they changed these buttons, I probably couldn't use it as my main personally, and that's just my personal preference. I like a little bit of a cushion bottom out. I don't like to feel my mouse 1 and 2 hitting the bottom of my shell. It's just distracting to me. That being said, it's a very good mouse otherwise. Now, if they could somehow fix this button issue, I think that this thing can be in the top 5, no cap. It's like the shape is that good. It almost makes me want the Razer Viper Mini a little bit less. I keep saying that about some mice, but for this one, I really do think that it could be a replacement for that mouse. They can never just give us the perfect mouse, huh, guys? Dang. Well, it's pretty damn close, all right? So Pulsar, overall, good job. Little finesse here and there, and I think this will be in the top 5, like I said. It has been your boy BT. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.